Hello and welcome back to the first segment of On Point with Politics. I'm your host, Marrero.
Hello, and welcome to On Point with Politics. I'm your host, Kimberly Keagy.
And I'm your host, Marrero. On Sunday of last week, the Allegheny County Democratic Committee voted on whom they would endorse in the upcoming mayoral primaries, which will take place in this upcoming May. Incumbent Bill Peduto, who won the endorsement over his rival Darrell Harris in a vote of 372 to 245. The gathering, which consisted of party leaders and candidates, took place at the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local Hall on the South Side. Matt Merriman Preston, a spokesperson for the Peduto campaign, told the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette that, quote, "We took 60% of the vote, which is a pretty decisive victory. It really speaks to the breadth of the mayoral support. People know that the mayor is continuing to deal with the challenges the city is facing, and they're pleased with what he's done so far," end quote. During the convention, Pittsburgh Sheriff Bill Mullen received 1,137 votes against his opponent, Pittsburgh homicide detective George Sattler. Sattler, whom received 444 votes, told the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette in an interview, quote, "I was hoping to do better, but I don't want to disappoint the more than 440 people who supported me. I will continue to run," end quote.
Darrell Harris and Bill Peduto weren't the only mayoral candidates whom attended the convention. Reverend John C. Welch also attended the event. However, Welch has made it public that he is not looking for the Democratic endorsement in the upcoming primary, and he was not allowed to attend the event. He was escorted before the voting began. Even though Welch is not looking for the endorsement, John Welch has made some campaign stops throughout Pittsburgh. His latest was one in the Fairwood, Pittsburgh, last week. Danny's Marrero was at the scene with more details.
So I'm here in a Salvation Army in Fairwood, Pittsburgh, where Reverend John Walsh is talking right now to a crowd of sympathizers inside the building behind me in an attempt to gain more supporters, more voters, and enough signatures in order to get his name on the ballot for the May 15 Democratic primary.
Reverend John Walsh conducted his third campaign stop in Fairwood, Pittsburgh. The event was held in the gymnasium of a Salvation Army on 1821 Broadhead Fording Road on Saturday, February 25th, in order to gain supporters and the signatures necessary to appear on the ballot for the Democratic primary on May of this year. Multiple speakers from the Welch campaign spoke to the crowd, reminding them of what the Welch campaign was about and why they need their support.
Presence today is part of a historical grassroots movement.
In the crowd were men, women, and children of all ages, many of whom were streaming the event on their smartphones through many social media platforms like Facebook, and many of whom were very optimistic about this specific campaign.
I think he's got a really great shot at being a mayor because, like I said, people are ready for a change.
Once John Walsh came out, he was greeted with a standing ovation from the crowd. And for about 15 minutes, John Walsh talked about the problems in the city of Pittsburgh, including the infrastructure, drugs, and the lack of trust between citizens and police officers. In an interview with John Walsh, he explained what was the motivation behind his campaign.
What was percolating in my mind was how much longer can I continue to watch the decline in the city of Pittsburgh? We're a city that doesn't grow. We do have development, but we have not grown as a city. We still have unemployment above the national average, and we still see a lot of displacement of long-time residents within our communities.
During the event, it was mentioned how current Pittsburgh Mayor Bill Peduto has more funds at his disposal for the upcoming election, but that didn't seem to face a candidate.
I think my chances are great. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't think so.
The Democratic primary will take place on May 16th. With On Point with Politics, I'm Marrero.
The replacement for Obamacare trudges forward in the House. Two House committees gave approval to the Republican health care bill Thursday and continued debate over legislation. The American Health Care Act was approved shortly before 4:30 a.m. on Thursday. However, many Republicans are opposing the bill. The American Hospital Association and AARP have voiced opposition to the bill. President Donald Trump met with the conservative groups last week and offered his full support of the bill. According to Politico, he has been reportedly expressed openness to some compromises and offered the revisit of health care reform in 2 years if the current effort is stymied. The House Budget Committee is expected to take up the bill next week, but it is unclear whether the measure will have the votes it needs to move throughout the full House and Senate.
Well, there's been a lot going on around the country this last couple of weeks politically.
Yeah.
So what do you think the American, what was it that the Republicans are trying to pass to replace Obamacare?
It's called the American Health Care Act.
How do you think that will affect the people who are already in place of Obamacare?
I'm not sure if it will really fix the issue that a lot of people with Obamacare are having trouble with. I think it's going to create some more issues, hopefully. Well, not hopefully, but...
I mean, not hopefully. Well, I guess only time will tell. Now we're going to go on a short break, so make sure to stay tuned to On Point with Politics.
Here on the Pioneer sideline, we talk a lot about sports in the studio, but it's beforehand when the conversation is actually interesting.
I hope I have enough powder on. I don't want to be too shiny on camera.
No, Trevor, I think it looks good. Every week you pull it off.
Ah, thanks, Phil. Man, your hair looks great tonight, by the way.
You sure? Yeah, I mean, I got a new haircut, but it looks all right.
Hey, guys. Does this make me look fat?
No, you look great. You look good. Yeah, Kyle.
Thanks. I was really...
Sports! Yeah!
Ever wanted to be behind the mic and have the world listening to your show on campus? Well, it's just as simple as joining WPPJ, Point Park's student-run radio station, located on the second floor of Lawrence Hall, right next to the dining services. Listeners can tune in using Point Park's website or through the TuneIn app by searching WPPJ. WPPJ welcomes any new DJs that want to get involved, so be heard. Do you have what it takes?
Well, no one showed up to the show tonight. Follow my lead. In 3, 2, take 2, open mics, cue talent. Good evening and welcome to UView News. I'm Josh Krupp. We begin with breaking news out of West Penn Hall. Ready 3, take lower third. Traffic is backed up in the West Penn elevator line after elevator 1 broke down on the 7th floor. Lose lower third. Maintenance advises students to take the stairs to avoid delays. Ready 2, take 2. In other news, no, you know what? I didn't sign up for this. We need crew. Join UView. Take alien hand transition.
Hello everyone, welcome back to On Point with Politics. I'm Jenny Murtha. The race for who will become the mayor of Pittsburgh is starting to get exciting, now that rumors of Councilwoman Darlene Harris joining the race have spread. When speaking to an LGBT group, she stated, quote, "I want to be a mayor. I want to work with public safety, public works communities, and organizations," unquote. Harris also sent Democratic Party leaders a $10,000 filing fee, seeking endorsement, and stated, quote, "With great enthusiasm that I am seeking the Democratic endorsement for mayor," unquote. However, her attorney has said that she is not yet an official candidate due to Pittsburgh's finance rules. He is also noted as saying, quote, "She's exploring the option of running," unquote. Current Pittsburgh Mayor Bill Peduto is seeking re-election, but he will definitely have some heated competition he needs to overcome if he wants to be reinstated. As for the citizens of Pittsburgh, we should all further study which each candidate stands for and what qualifications they have, and then we should vote on whichever candidate that we see best fit. In other news, Pittsburgh protested the Trump administration in their decision to revoke the federal guidelines regarding the transgender community and transgender students within the schools, leaving the decision of what bathrooms the transgender students in the United States are allowed to use. Our host, Dennis Marrero, was at the scene.
I'm here at Pittsburgh City Council building where a protest has taken place in order to protest the backtracking of Trump's administration's decision to leave the LGBT community untouched during his administration. A big community standing together. That is what Pittsburgh witnessed today when many protesters gathered in front of the Pittsburgh City Council building here in downtown Pittsburgh in the name of transgender rights. The protest was organized in less than 72 hours in order to protest Donald Trump and his administration in regards to their decision made in the last couple of days, which prohibits transgender citizens to use the restrooms of the gender they identify with.
The protest started on the Grant Street sidewalks alongside the City Council building. However, when the crowd grew, the protesters moved to the streets. And even though there was concern, the event was very peaceful and had a very friendly crowd, whom held many signs and flags. A lot of flags. There were also many speakers at the protest, including Pittsburgh Mayor Bill Peduto. These speakers talked until the sun went down and encouraged the crowds, assuring them that Pittsburgh is a city for everyone and that the trans rights wouldn't be jeopardized. Once the sun went down, the protesters began to march down Grant Street, while the Pittsburgh City Police aided them by closing traffic.
I want to be more politically active. I feel like I can influence more people by being more politically active, and especially at attending events like these and connecting with other resources in the community.
The protesters made their way down Grant Street and concluded their march at the U.S. Customs Service building.
We're protesting, standing up for my sisters and my brothers. I'm a trans woman, a native of Pittsburgh, and this is what we need to do to make sure that our students are safe and they're able to use the bathroom that they want to use and deserve to use, that their gender identifies them as.
There were no violent incidents reported. With On Point with Politics, I'm Marrero.
I'm Jenny Murtha. Now let's check up with Alex to see what's going on politically around the state of Pennsylvania.
Thanks, Jenny. In Pennsylvania state news, Revenue Secretary Elaine McNutley announces her retirement set on April 21st. Governor Tom Wolf made a public announcement on Friday about the news. McNutley's Deputy Secretary C. Daniel Hassel has been appointed to succeed her in the acting role in the cabinet. Hassel has served in the secretary seat over a year under Governor Ed Randall. Hassel has more than 3 decades of experience with the Department of Revenue and the state Senate, and he said, quote, "Working with Elaine throughout the years has always been rewarding. We will miss her unwavering commitment to excellence in the fair, equitable collection of taxes that fund the services of Pennsylvania. But we will wish her well as she begins an exciting new chapter of her life," end quote. That's all I have for you today. I'm Alex Garbini, and let's go check in with Tony Reyna to see what's going on around the world.
Hi everyone, I'm Tony Reyna. In recent international news, North Korea boycotted a UN review of human rights records. The review called for North Korea's leadership to be held responsible and accountable for crimes against humanity documented by the world's body. The review was in addition to a report filed back in 2014 detailing when North Korea use of political prison camps, starvation, and execution. The report said that security chiefs and possibly even Kim Jong-un should face charges for international justice. Quote, "Between 80,000 and 120,000 people are held in 4 known political prison camps in North Korea, stated by Ojia Quintawa," end quote. Even though the report is under protest, the UN could still create an international tribunal to prosecute the abuses. With On Point with Politics, I'm Tony Reyna.
Well, that is all we have for you this week. Make sure to stay tuned to On Point with Politics and make sure to join Kimberly, Keagy, and me, Marrero, here on Point with Politics from the Point Parks Center for Media Innovation.